Um, Hi. So, do you think it's too early for me to be doing this? What time is it right now? Ooh, yeah, I forgot. People on the West Coast are still sleeping. My bad. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's okay. Didn't watch the video. Um, okay, so some things I wanted to discuss. So, on Twitter a few days, I said that right now there is a battle happening between the Phoenix, the Dragon, and the Viper, and a lot of actually no one understood what that I meant by that, and that's okay. So that basically means that there's three forces right now that are fighting over humanity. Okay, you have the Viper, and that's basically like the American European elite. That's basically the Illuminati. Then you have the Dragon, and that's basically the Chinese Illuminati. Yes, there is actually a difference. There's actually like two Illuminatis, meaning two elite governments that are controlling everything. You have the American, European, Middle Eastern version, and then you have the Chinese version that only works for themselves. So yes, there's not one, there's two. And then you have the Phoenix, which is the opposing force above all of this that wants to completely vanquish evil. I know this sounds like a Harry Potter fan flick, but it's the way it is, okay? Um, the thing is that sometimes you guys can get confused, and I don't blame you guys, but what you guys need to understand is that, like, let's say I say something's going to happen, right? And it happens, but not exactly how I expected it to. Or it happens and then something came and stopped it, right? What's happening is you have opposing forces that are constantly like tic-tac-toeing, playing tug of war with each other, you know? 1 second, guys. I'm getting like text messages and I want to shut that off. Give me a moment. Okay, I think I'm good now. Um, but yeah, so anyways, so you have opposing forces. So what ends up happening is, let's say the American elite are trying to do something, right? And the Chinese elite are trying to do something, and their agenda does not go hand in hand with each other. They, they will actually try. Why is my voice sounding like I've been smoking cigarettes for 30 years? Give me a moment. Sooner or later, I'm gonna just sound like this in my live streams, and no one. 1 second. Ugh. It's too early for this. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes you have like people in higher governments and stuff. They actually oppose each other. They don't agree with the same agenda, and that's when you start to see like things start to look a little weird. You know what I mean? Like things don't all seem like they're all going according to plan. Because here's a good example. Here's a really good example. You guys watched the Hunger Games, right? If you haven't, for anyone that has watched the Hunger Games, you know how towards the end of the series, how you have President Snow, who's the typical bad guy, but then you also have that female leader that I don't remember what her name was. You know what I mean? Like the female leader that was helping Katniss take down President Snow, and then she ended up being bad herself. Like there's a lot of that going on, so that's why it's so easy to get confused on what the hell is actually happening right now around the world. There's a lot of forces that are all playing tug of war with each other right now, and it can get very, very hectic. Something I wanted to discuss was Bill Gates. So a lot of people have been discussing Bill Gates lately, and about because Bill Gates is connected to this Wuhan virus, which is something that I've already said a long time ago. More specifically, that Bill Gates made a patent to have a chip placed inside human beings, and that is a chip that you can also use to pay stuff with. And this is exactly what I predicted would happen. I told you guys that we were going to have a global pandemic, we were going to have a economic crash, and then we're going to start being introduced a chip through a vaccine, and that's the beginning of how society gets enslaved. 1 second. Anyway, so basically, what's happening is that Bill Gates created a chip that goes inside human beings, right? And that chip basically gives you information on and what type of vaccines you have, your medical history, and everything that's coinciding with it. What's interesting is that this patent is also connected to a digital currency. If you guys want, I can give you guys the link later to the patent that you guys can actually read it for yourself. But the patent is basically for a device that goes inside of you, and you can use, like, for example, it's like in your thumb, and that device is something that you will use to pay for things instead of using a wallet or instead of using a debit card. And every baby that's born will have this device planted inside of them. And what's interesting about it is that this device is, the whole purpose for it is mainly, 2 or 3 things I'm going to explain. Number one, it has all of your medical information on it. If you're, what the vaccines you've taken, what shots you've taken, what you're allergic to, etc. In a perfect world, this is actually a really cool device, and it's actually good for humans. In a perfect world where there is no corruption or evil scientists. You know what I mean? The problem, though, is that we don't live in a perfect world, okay? So the second part of it is that you can use this device to pay for things. So let's say it'll be like a tiny chip, like for example over here in your thumb. So let's say you're going and you're buying a new television set, right? You will just put your thumb like on, on some little device. It will scan your thumbprint or scan the chip, and then you basically paid for it. That chip is attached to your bank accounts. And yeah. The part though that's interesting is that on this patent, it specifically says for the use of digital currency. And that's exactly what I told you guys. I said we will be moving into an era of digital currency. We will not be using cash anymore. I've been saying this since like 2018. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. Not only are we seeing flares up in Bitcoin and stuff like that, but we're also seeing America's constantly printing out money. All of the nations actually around the world are printing out money at an alarming rate. They're printing $600, $800, $900 billion a day. Not a month, not a year, a day. They're just on that printer like, like just printing out $100 bills. And the problem with that is that when you do that, you cause massive inflation. You cause a level of inflation that can never be undone. And it's almost as if they're purposely doing this. They're purposely printing out dollar bills so that your dollar bills are not worth anything anymore. If you want an example of what this looks like, Google Venezuela money. And you will see that it's just in Venezuela, because their dollar crashed, their currency crashed, no one uses it anymore. There's just like $100 Venezuela bills all over the floor. No one picks it up because it's worth nothing. No one wants it. And that's exactly what's going to be happening in many countries around the world. And they want that to happen. They are doing this on purpose, because if the dollar crashes, then everyone can just start using a digital currency, and the digital currencies will be used by, using the chip to buy things with. And that's exactly it. Also, if you guys watch like a lot of futuristic shows on Netflix, like Altered Carbon or Black Mirror and stuff like that, you will see this being shown in these films. Now here's the thing, right? Is that when how should I say this? I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Someone just mentioned Mark of the Beast. Yeah, some biblical people think that this chip would be the Mark of the Beast. It could be. I mean, not everything says that. Like, that's Mark of the Beast is specifically only seen in the Bible. The Torah doesn't discuss it, and the Quran doesn't discuss it either. Anyway, so something that I wanted. Well, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh my god. What was I going to say? School is not opening anytime soon. There is no point of even opening school anymore. Like, we're already going to go into May. What's left? Like, just a month of May is really left. There's no really point in opening it and increasing the risk factor. Something that I wanted to address also is the virus. So, a lot of shady stuff right now is happening with the virus, right? In one moment, when the virus first came out, I was warning society about it. I was telling everyone that this virus is the real deal. Take it seriously and don't listen to the media, because the CDC, every politician, and every single media outlet was saying it's just a flu, and no one took it seriously. No one took it seriously at all. Everyone and their mother was saying that it was just a flu, and I'm over here in the background screaming, "It's real! Take it seriously!" And so yeah. But now that the virus has died out because everyone's been in lockdown this entire time, the media doesn't want that. The media wants everyone to stay in fear. The media wants everyone to be scared about the virus, right? They want everyone to stay inside, and this is actually very obvious because one, they're using fake media footage. They're actually using hospital footage of that didn't even happen now. Like they showed a hospital that was like being overrun. You see all the doctors running with like people dead on the tables and stuff, and that it wasn't even from the coronavirus. That was actually from Hurricane Katrina. They were using hospital videos that were like 10 years old. You know what I mean? They were using hospital videos from hospitals that weren't even in America. So also right now, if you die in a hospital, they just label it as you died from COVID-19. You know, you can get hit by a truck, then struck by lightning, and then an asteroid can just fall on you and obliterate you, and the doctor would be like, I see. He died from coronavirus. Yes. That does not make sense, okay? So let's address a few things here. Number one, is the coronavirus real? Of course. Is it an actual threat? Yes. But what's happening right now is that the threat is diminishing, and society, when they're scared, when society is fearful, they're very easy to control. So when society starts realizing that the virus really isn't a threat anymore, and the weather starts to become warm, and people start to go outside, the government is not gonna like that, especially Democrats. They're not going to like that. So my fear is, what if these asswipes release the second wave of the virus intentionally to keep everyone back inside? So that's what I'm concerned about, and that's what I'm keeping my vision on the most. I'm trying to make sure that actually is one of their plans. That was one of their plans on the table. One of their plans on the table was for the virus to come out, you know, like in December and January. This is exactly what I said. I tweeted out saying that I expect a global pandemic to happen late 2019, early 2020. That's exactly what happened, right? So my fear, though, is that they release the virus, people get infected, everyone runs inside, right? The whole purpose of this virus was for them to infringe on your rights. They want to, add the 5G chip. I'm sorry. They want to add the chip. They want to make forced vaccines. They want to do all of these things that remove your rights. They want to track whether you've been inside or whether you've been outside. They want to control everything that you're doing in life. And the best way to do that is to put fear in society. If everyone is scared, people are more likely to listen to you. So, it's funny because there's a quote that's from a dictator, I forgot who his name was, but he said the best way to get people to be loyal to you isn't through love, but it's actually through fear. Because if humans love you, they can still betray you. But if humans are scared of you, they will never betray you because they'll be too scared of the consequences. So, this virus has a few agendas. Number one, they're using this virus to have mass surveillance over everyone, right? Google and Apple right now are giving data to the government on who's been quarantined inside their houses, and who's been outside this entire time. And they can send that data to any job that you apply for. So now when you're going to a job, oh my fucking god, this person. 1 second. Anyway, so now when you apply for a job, they can look up your data from your phone, and they could be like, oh, it seems like during the coronavirus quarantine, you refused to stay inside. So since you didn't listen, why should we hire you? That's a breach of data. That's illegal for them to have data like that. That's against human rights. They cannot do that. But yet the government is doing it anyway because people are not opening their eyes. It's not clicking for anyone. People are so focused on other stupid shit that they're not realizing what's happening. And so my concern is, what if they release a second wave of the virus? And this is something they actually have planned, and it stopped. It was supposed to happen what are we, May? No, wait, it's still in April. Oh my god, I have no perception of time anymore. It was supposed to happen last week, and it actually backfired. I'm not going to get into details because I'll probably have the FBI knocking on my door, but it didn't go through, okay? It got stopped. But the point, though, is that they can still do it, and that's what makes me fearful. But at the same exact time, we can't always live in fear. You guys can't just put yourselves in a bubble and say, you know what, I'm never going to step outside anymore because of this. So there comes to a point where you guys need to be like really intellectual, very logical, and take a moment and really analyze. It can be confusing, and I know that it could feel like you're getting like mixed messages and stuff, and that's because they're doing that on purpose. I made a tweet a few months ago where I said there's going to come a time where there's going to be so much where there's going to be so people keep calling me. There's going to come a time where there's going to be so much misinformation that the best thing to do is just get off the internet. Okay? That's basically what I'm trying to, like, I literally made a tweet, and that tweet is still there. I literally said there's going to be a time where there's so much misinformation, the best thing to do is just, like, don't even look at it. And this is what I was referring to. There's so much misinformation going on. You're hearing multiple different stories. Some people are screaming bloody murder that this virus is going to kill all of us, and then on the next moment, people are saying that this virus isn't even doing anything. So there's just like this onslaught of just misinformation, and you really have to be careful because the human mind is a sponge. Okay, you guys absorb everything. Whether you want to absorb it or not, your brain is absorbing all of this information. So you need to realize that please be careful with what you're reading. Be careful with what you're looking at. Do not come in. Be careful with what you're reading, be careful what you're looking at, because a lot of this misinformation can subconsciously screw up with your mind, and then you just start becoming confused. Else that I wanted to discuss is QAnon. So a lot of people have been asking about QAnon, and even though I address this so many times, people still discuss it. So let me just squash this out. I keep getting called. So QAnon is a conspiracy. Now, the QAnon, it's a conspiracy about this guy. He's anonymous, hence the term anon, but he just calls himself Q. Now, this guy was basically, he came into light when Trump got elected as president. This guy basically went anonymously on the internet, and he made this whole entire conspiracy that Trump was actually trying to save America from satanic cults. And that Trump is actually our savior, and that he's actually like doing all of this to actually help us. Like the reason why he's acting as an asshole and stuff was all intentional. Basically, the conspiracy is that Trump is actually a genius who knows exactly what he's doing, and he's trying to take down all of these satanic cults that run America. Now, the part that's interesting about this guy, about this QAnon, is that, is it true? Probably not. Is there some true essences in it? Yes, there actually is some true essences in it. Do I really believe that Trump is the Messiah trying to save America? No. But there are some, Trump genuinely does actually like this country, and he is actually trying to help it. So I think people need to be careful with how they view this conspiracy, because half of it is true and the other half is complete bullshit. Also, this QAnon could also be a psyop. So a psyop is when the CIA purposely creates a very enticing conspiracy to confuse society. A very good example of a psyop is flat Earth. So the Earth isn't flat, but what happened was the CIA was realizing that conspiracy theorists were gathering a lot of attention on social media because people love conspiracy theories. So what happened was the CIA wanted to make conspiracy theorists look like idiots. So they purposely released the flat Earth conspiracy theory, and they made it look so believable that a lot of people believed it. So then now when you tell someone a conspiracy theory, or when you tell someone you're a conspiracy theorist, what is the first thing they say? Oh, let me guess, you think the Earth is flat? And they automatically start mocking you, and they automatically don't listen to anything that you say, because now the term conspiracy theorist is attached to the stupid concept that Earth is flat. You get it? Like the CIA purposely created that conspiracy just to make every conspiracy theorist look like they're idiots. So that's called a psyop. They create a story, a fake narrative to basically undermine something. You know? So, and yes, right now I'm gonna have people in the comments telling me the Earth is flat. Go ahead, you clearly know more than I do. Anyway, but So a part of me probably thinks that QAnon is a psyop, because what the QAnon conspiracy, it's actually extremely famous and a lot of Trump supporters follow it. Almost every Trump supporter believes in this conspiracy, which makes Trump even more powerful if you think about it. Like, it's actually a very, very good tactic on Trump's end to make a conspiracy that he's actually trying to save all of us. It's actually really genius, and you have to give him credit for it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know now. Anything you guys... Oh, Bernie Sanders. So I said Bernie Sanders was going to be the Democratic nominee. Let me address this now. I said he was going to win it. When Bernie Sanders suspended his campaign, he didn't end his campaign. He suspended it, okay? Which means he just put it on hold. Some of you guys wanted to, like, crucify me for, oh my God, Mo's wrong. Ah! Here's some things you guys need to know. Number one, suspending a campaign does not mean that he's out. Number two, Bernie Sanders' grandson, on the day that he suspended his campaign, just happened to go missing for a few hours. I wonder what happened to him. And then I wonder why Bernie Sanders just coincidentally, after a few hours, suddenly decided to suspend his campaign. What could have gone wrong? I wonder. And something else you guys need to understand is that Joe Biden isn't even here, okay? Every time if you see Joe Biden, like, in an interview or, like, on a video or something, it's a deep fake. It's not even him. Joe Biden has Alzheimer's. He doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. Don't get me wrong, he's also a complete pedophile. Like, you don't even need me to tell you that. Everyone and their mother knows this, because they've probably been touched by him. But something that you guys need to understand is that he doesn't even know what like, his brain isn't even there. Joe Biden could never be president, okay? Ever. He doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. He's literally crazy. And then when I say this to people that Joe Biden isn't even, like, he's basically not even alive. He's basically like a vegetable right now because he has so much brain damage. People are like, oh my God, just go to Joe Biden's Twitter. He's obviously there. He's tweeting. You think Joe Biden actually uses his Twitter account? Joe Biden doesn't even know how to use Twitter. I don't think he even has a smartphone. He's probably using a rock. Like, what? Like, please, guys, stop being... Okay. So a lot of times on social media, I always say how stupid people are, or how dumb society is. And then some people get, like, sensitive to that. They're like, oh my God, stop calling us idiots, blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys have to understand. I'm exposed to over 200,000 people on a daily basis. I see how stupid humans really are. And it's so hard to not point it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard not to point it out. Like, do you really think these politicians are actually tweeting? None of these politicians even care about Twitter. The only politician I think actually controls his Twitter account is probably President Trump. All the other, like, politicians don't even use Twitter. You know what I mean? So it's just so much fakeness, so much misinformation. And the part that sucks is that everyone always thinks they know everything. And I know you guys are gonna be like, but Mo, that's you. The difference is I don't pretend to know everything. Sometimes you guys will ask me stuff and I'll be like, honestly, I have no idea. You know, like, I'll tell you I don't know something if I don't know something. Someone just asked me if I'm a Trump supporter. No. I'm not an anything supporter. I don't support any politician, because every politician, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, they're all branches on the same tree. It doesn't matter who's president. Because, like, let's say I ran for president right now, right? Can you actually imagine me running for president? I would get assassinated in like 2 seconds. But let's say I was president, right? I still technically couldn't do anything, because if I wanted to go against the government, they would just kill me. So there's no point. Someone asked me, do I like Jack Daniels? What's Jack Daniels? Isn't that like a restaurant or like a beer or something? I don't even know what Jack Daniels is. I don't drink alcohol. I never drank alcohol in my life. Someone said, how do you avoid the chip? So here's the issue with the whole chip thing, right? Is that you can't. So this is how they're going to get society to take the chip. Number one, they're going to use vaccines as a way for people to get chipped. And if you don't have your vaccine, if you don't have the chip, they're going to say that you can't go to school anymore. You can't go to college anymore, or you can't get a job anymore. They're going to force that vaccine. They're going to force that chip on everyone, because they're going to say, well, if you don't take it, you're not going to go to school. You're not going to go to work. Even, by the way, that's also illegal against the Constitution for them to do that. Legally, they cannot do that. But if society allows them to do that, then they're just going to do it because no one's stopping them. Another way that they can get people to take the chip is if you willingly take it. So I say this so many times. The government, if they know that they want to do something, they know that society's not going to handle it well, what they'll do is they'll put it in a beautiful package with a little ribbon on top and give it to you as a gift. And you're going to want it. What do I mean by this? If the government had came to you years ago and they said, we want to put cameras and microphones inside of your houses, would you have said yes? No. Right? You would have said no. Why the hell am I going to have your microphone and cameras in my house? That's creepy. Everyone would have said no. And the government knows this. So what did they do? They created iPhones. They created smartphones. They created Siri. They created the Echo. Amazon's Echo. They created Alexa. They created all of these devices that are constantly watching you and constantly listening to everything that you're saying. And you willingly bought it. They didn't give it to you. They didn't force it on you. You went and bought one. The same way that I also have an iPhone. It became a staple. Everyone and their mother has one. And that's how they do things. So what they'll do is, let's say they start using a digital currency, or let's say they start using a chip. What they'll do is they'll tell everyone, for everyone that gets this chip, we'll give you $2,000. You know how many people are gonna go and get that chip for the $2,000? Or what if they say everyone that has this chip, the government will give you $500 a month? Everyone is gonna go and get it. Because they're going to say, oh yeah, $500 a month, I'll do it. Like, it's so easy for people to sell their rights for money. It's so easy. Some people just do it for free. They don't even do it for money. It's so simple. Society's so easy to manipulate. I swear to God, if I was evil, I would have been a crazy evil genius. I would have been the craziest Disney villain you guys would have ever seen. Because it's so easy to see society for what they are. If I sound congested, it's because I'm in a clogged room right now, and I have a cold. So, I left my window open, and I woke up with the sniffles. Sorry. Will this virus be over? Yeah, but something that's... something that's concerning me about the virus is politicians and media outlets keep using the term we're never going to go back to normal. They keep saying we're going to the new normal. Everyone keeps saying new normal. What the hell is the new normal? That's what makes it very suspicious. But that they keep saying new normal. What does that mean to them? It goes back down to when you guys told me, is the world gonna end? And I said, no, the world isn't ending, but it's the end of an era. We are moving to a very heightened digital era. You know when you guys, okay, here's a good example. You know when you guys watch like those movies or television shows that like take place in the future where like everything's controlled by AIs and all this stuff? That's the era that we're moving into. The problem is that those eras in these shows and movies, which Hollywood loves to hint at, tend to be very dystopian societies. And that's never really a good thing. Like, technology is either going to enslave all of us or it can be the best thing that's ever happened to humanity, depending on who's controlling everything. Basically a cyberpunk era, yeah. Which, a part of me doesn't mind because I absolutely love the cyberpunk theme, but that's not the point. It's what I like isn't relevant to this. People are asking, should they buy Bitcoin? No, not just yet. The economy is going, guys, when I've been warning people since 2018 that the economy is going to get wrecked. Okay, it's going to get absolutely smothered. And that's what's happening right now. And people are still not realizing it. Do not run to invest in things just yet. Wait. Be patient, because the economy, it was always going to crash with or without the coronavirus. They just use the coronavirus as a pin to pop the bubble to do it. But just please be patient. This is exactly what I told everyone on Patreon. Just be patient. For you guys that don't know, I do have a Patreon where you guys can donate anywhere from $1 to $100. I basically open up water wells with a non-profit charity. They don't take any money at all. It's completely non-profit. I've been going through them for years. My whole family family has been donating to that charity for a long time, and they basically open up water wells in villages across the world. You can choose what country. If you guys want to, donate $1 or something, the Patreon is like on my YouTube channel. It'll be underneath this video when it's on YouTube also. Anyway, oh, okay, you guys have any questions? I don't want this video to go too long. Oh yeah, the power outage. So yes, I still think that they're going to shut off the electricity on people. I still think it's going to happen. Even if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen later. This is already planned out. This is not like me being speculative. This is not me saying I think it's gonna happen. They're going to do this. How long it lasts, honestly, I really don't know. And it could be, I personally think it's just gonna be like a few days, but I really don't know. Hopefully it can be stopped, but this is one of those things that I don't think it's gonna be like, I don't know, honestly, but I do know for a fact it is going to happen. Someone's asking me about Beyonce. Guys, I really don't care about celebrities, but I will say Beyonce has been missing for like 3 months. Where did this satanic hoe go? I have no idea. So someone's saying what's gonna happen did Joe Biden win? Joe Biden isn't even alive. Someone is calling me a fraud. Really? Do you really think I'm a fraud? What the hell am I doing that can possibly label me as an evil person? I've thrown my entire YouTube channel underneath the bus to give people information. I don't even get paid by YouTube anymore. No brand wants to work with me. I can't even do live streams on other platforms because of the stuff that I talk about. And some of you really think that I'm an evil person. Shut the hell up and get a life. What else? Let's see. The alien invasion is also something that's 100% going to plan out. They are definitely going to fake an alien invasion. There's a lot of symbolism that points towards it as well. I'm just randomly cracking my neck in the middle of the stream. Ignore that. Someone says 5G dangerous. Yeah, unfortunately 5G is dangerous, and people really need to make a lot of awareness about 5G. The problem is that another psyop that was created was 5G is the coronavirus, and that's not what's happening at all, okay? 5G is actually really bad for living things. Like, it's been studied where if they put a 5G tower and the plants around that area will actually just start to die out. Like, it literally looks like you sprayed weed killer on these plants that are right next to the 5G tower. So the frequency, and you know what the crazy part is? It's not the 5G tower itself. It's not like the internet. It's actually the frequency that it's on that's dangerous. It's not like the internet. It's not the Wi-Fi that's the problem. It's the frequency that they programmed it to be on. If they change the frequency, the 5G towers are not a threat, but yet they don't want to change it, and that's very odd. Someone asked me how I'm doing. I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. I'm just chilling, killing. So let's see. Okay, guys, do you guys have any other questions? Anything? Going once. Going twice. Someone keeps saying what's gonna happen in May. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen in May. Honestly, I'm just hoping we get a zombie apocalypse. It's probably not gonna happen. I've already addressed this. I don't think they're going to actually push the zombie apocalypse thing. But if I actually see a zombie outside, I will just laugh. Because what else can you do in that moment? Like, I would just... Oh my god, I just realized. What if we actually did have a zombie apocalypse, right? Hear me out. We got like 1,000 treadmills, and we make the zombies run or walk on the treadmills, and we use them to generate power. No? Is that not a good idea? Hello? I mean, this is an evil scientist genius plan right now. No? Nothing? No one thinks it's a good idea? Am I the only one? Forget it. I knew people starting to tell me that I sound like Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, and now I'm starting to see the slight resemblance. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna end this. I don't want to keep everyone here for too long. Someone asked about the asteroid. Yeah, there's definitely some meteorites that are actually around our orbit right now, and if one of them hits us, nothing we can do about it. So yeah, anyway, love you guys so much.